Traditions state that every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. We will now pass the basket. This is a weekly literature or step meeting. Our format is as follows. The speaker is asked to talk for no longer than 30 minutes. He or she spends 15 minutes on qualifying themselves and the other 15 minutes on either a composition from the big book or the step of the week, followed by group shares, discussions, or questions until 7 p.m. We then end the meeting with the Lord's Prayer or the Serenity Prayer, which is the speaker's choice. You can find our past weekly meetings on our YouTube page called the Stay Alive Literature and Step Group Meeting. You can also find information about our upcoming meetings and other great stuff on Doylestown Recovery Group Facebook page. Do not forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and share. Well, this brings us to the speaker portion, and tonight's speaker is Michelle on, what is today, July 21st, Doylestown, PA. I'd like to introduce Michelle, and she's going to be speaking tonight on step 1. Let's give her a warm welcome. Woo!
Well, thanks everybody. I haven't spoken in a while, but I love speaking on the steps, so so I'll just jump right into it. My name is Michelle, and I am a grateful recovering alcoholic. And I'd like to start my story by saying that I have 2 sober dates. My first sober date was June 10th, which happens to be Founders Day, which is cool, 1990. And my second sober date is August 15th, 2020. And they're almost exactly 30 years apart, which I find is very interesting. So I'll get into my story and talk about what happened about 30 years ago when I was I came into the program at a very young age, just 23 years old. And already I had burned my life down to the ground. I had 3 car accidents which were caused by drinking and driving. One which I almost killed myself, landed in ICU, hit a telephone pole, flipped the car on top of someone else's car, and then on top of myself. And I shouldn't be here. I started drinking, I guess, as a kid because there was always alcohol around me. So, you could always, my family used to think it was funny to give little kids beer, the Budweiser, because then, we would make the face and spit it out. So we were all used to having beer at an early age. And so I was used to having sips of alcohol and even other substances, smoking other substances because of my parents were hippies. So stuff was around. So I'd be in the ashtray and I'd be I'd be like a little kid and I'd do what I saw them doing and I'd be and so I was always around me, so I knew what to do. But the first time I got drunk, I was 15 years old. And I was at an after-cast party. I was in the play at school. It was Little Abner, and I was a little hillbilly and in the chorus. And it was a lot of fun. And afterwards, we went to this party at someone's house, and it was just high school kids, and they were all good kids, academic kids, not partiers at all. Jocks, just the good kids. But I somehow scrounged around in all the cabinets, and I found an old bottle of creme de menthe, and it was dusty, and it was half full, and I proceeded to start drinking that creme de menthe and running around the party trying to get everybody else to drink the creme de menthe because I was having fun. And I ended up getting really sick from the creme de menthe and not remembering a lot of what happened. And then the next day when I woke up, I was that was so much fun. I can't wait to do that again. And that was the start of my unmanageability with alcohol. So that was about 15, and then I proceeded to learn how to party and drink beers with my high school sweetheart. He was older than me. And I could get into bars at 16. Like in Lansdale, we would drive to New Hope and go to bars, and I'd be like at the bar getting served, 16 years old. I don't know how that happened, but it did. And then, if I wasn't at the bar, he could get it, or I don't know, we always had alcohol. And then it was like the high school parties, the kegs, and so I was always, with a boyfriend getting alcohol. So that was kind of like my thing. So I went kind of from one boyfriend to the next boyfriend, to the next boyfriend, to the next boyfriend. And it was always, just partying. So then, like I said, I had those accidents, the 3 accidents where I crashed the cars. And what else happened? I went to Temple University, and I majored in drinking, so I didn't last long there. Because the parties were on the weekends, which was good. I was like, okay, I'm going to do my work during the week, and then I'll just drink on the weekends. But that didn't last long. I had good intentions, but it was like as soon as I took a drink, I couldn't stop. And as soon as I started finding the people who drank like me, it was like on. So first I was drinking just like Friday night and Saturday night, and I was still going to some classes. Then I started finding there were parties on Thursday night. So then I was drinking Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. And then there were parties Wednesday night, and then and then it was every night of the week I could find a party because I found those people who drank like me. And like I said, once I started, I couldn't stop. So I only went to college for 1 semester. And then, I don't know. Then I got a job waitressing, and that was the perfect job for an alcoholic because you could even drink on the job. Like I had jobs where we could drink. The bartenders would give us drinks, or if it was brunch, we could make a mimosa for our customer and then make one for ourselves. And so I continued to perpetuate that lifestyle. And like I said, and we would go out to work, after our shift. And the people in the restaurant business, they drank like me, which was great. And then every night we would all say, okay, we're just going to go out for 1 or 2, after work. Well, the next thing I know, I'm at the after hours club, and it's like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I'm like, wow, how did that happen? I was just going to have 1 or 2 drinks, and then the next thing I know, we closed down the bar, and it was like this dive, St. Marie's or something in Lansdale bar. And my faith is very strong. And I have to say that I know that, God was really looking out for me because I put myself into a lot of situations with shady men, older men, just to get drinks, And so that's where my, alcoholism, led me. I was waking up like in places with men, and I was like, wow, I don't even remember how I got here. And I'm lucky to be alive. I'm really lucky to be alive, and I'm thankful for that. So all that was happening, and then there were other substances involved, and this continued. And then my brother is much younger than me, like 5 years, and he ended up going into a rehab, and we had a family weekend. And and at the time, I also have to say there was a lot of dysfunctional stuff going on at home with my mom and her husband and my father and my brother, and it was just a mess. So I know that I learned how to deal with a lot of emotional pain at an early age by using substances. So we go to this family retreat, not a retreat. My brother was in like a rehab, so it was a family weekend. And we went all through like the dysfunctional family, the addictions, the this and the that. And I was just 21 or 22, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm an alcoholic. And I swore I would never be an alcoholic because I had lived with lots of alcoholics, my grandfather, my aunt, my uncles, my father. And I saw like what alcohol did to them, and I was like, I am never going to be like them. I am not going to be like them. And I turned out just like them. I was just as powerless over alcohol as they were, you know? So at 21, I'm like, wow, this sucks. I'm an alcoholic. And then I'm like, it didn't sink in because I kept drinking and then started doing other things. And yeah. And then I had gotten pregnant and had an abortion, and that was a horrible thing. It was a horrible thing. And I just, you know, went deeper and deeper into the alcoholism, the self-hatred, the self-pity, the hopelessness, and then I still couldn't stop. And then I don't know what happened. I didn't have a spiritual awakening, but I just knew something was telling me, go to AA, go to AA. And I had been to AA meetings with my aunt when I was like 11 and 12. She was in AA, and she was sober for a short while when she had her son, my cousin, who's like a brother to me now. He's like, and we're very close. And his mom passed away from addictions. And I knew that I could go to AA. It was like this light bulb. So, I mean, I guess it was a spiritual awakening and I didn't know it. So I went to AA, and I was still drinking. And I actually met my husband, and he was new to AA. And so we met, you know, and kind of replaced our addictions with each other. But we managed to stay sober, which was pretty incredible. You know, I did work some steps. I did have a sponsor. I did believe in God. I did have faith. And for, you know, a long time that worked. And, you know, he became very successful at his job, and because he was a workaholic. He didn't drink. And I, you know, didn't drink, but I had, you know, isms like perfectionism, materialism, but we were able to build a good life, you know, really. And we had a good life, and we had the home, we took nice vacations, my husband had the cars and the boats, and he went on the big hunting trips, the big game hunting trips. We moved up to the mountains, we had kids, we had a grandson then, and life was really, really good. And then all of a sudden, my husband got cancer. And that just changed our lives. He got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And he relapsed right away because he had been playing cards with guys who drank beer. And he did that for 7 years and didn't drink, and they became his buddies. And the first thing that happened when he didn't have another solution was he drank with them. So that was right after the diagnosis. And then I followed soon after. And then I want to say in 3 years, we were back to like the insanity and drinking, and I didn't believe I was an alcoholic. I was like, I'm just a codependent. My husband's the alcoholic. He drinks way more than I. Even my children co-signed it. Mom's not that bad of an alcoholic. Dad's worse. Dad's worse. Mom's an alcoholic, but she's not that bad. Because I didn't drink as much as he did. But I still drank every day. I still had that mental obsession, and that's all I thought about was drinking. So about 3 years into my drinking, I was ready to end my life. And my husband was ex-military, and he had lots of guns and lots of ammo. And we were up in central PA alone. And it was like I just knew something bad was going to happen. And I knew that I was powerless over the alcohol, and it was the alcohol. It was the alcohol that had driven me into the depths of insanity and depression, and even psychosis. So I went to a psych ward, and it was the combination of the drinking, some, I know this is AA, but some medical marijuana that he had, and I was just seriously depressed and ready to end it. I knew I had to remove myself. So I did. I removed myself from the situation, from the alcohol. I got help. I started doing meetings in the hospital. I left the hospital after a short time, went to rehab and down in Tennessee. And I did that. And then I knew I couldn't go home to my husband. And that was really a game changer for me, because I took care of myself and I got sober, and I wouldn't go back until he got sober and we got help. But that didn't happen. But I ended up getting sober, moving to Doylestown, meeting Kara, meeting Ron, coming to the Thursday night meetings, and and I realized that my whole life, all of my problems stemmed from alcoholism and being powerless over the alcohol, and all my other family members' problems too. And so my eyes were just really opened, and so now I come to meetings. I don't drink. I'll have 5 years on August 15th, 2025, free of alcohol and any other substance except caffeine. Which I can become unmanageable with that too, but I'm working on that. And my life is good. I mean, my kids didn't talk to me for years. My husband's side of the family still doesn't talk to me because I left him and then, got sober. But I did reconcile with him before he passed away. And we made our amends of sorts. He was still drinking. And I did not drink throughout his death and throughout the whole mess that happened around that. And so I'm getting my daughters back, my grandkids. I live in Doylestown with my mom's here, my brother, my nephews. They're all affected by the disease of alcoholism too. But now I can help them. I can set a good example, and they can see me and how well I'm doing and what a different person I am because of this program. And now I'm actually starting to help other women, and that's step 12, and that's been pretty amazing. That's been really amazing, and I didn't really realize how wonderful it would be until I started doing it and noticing a change at the women that I'm working with. So it's like I get to show them what AA's done for me, and so yeah, I mean, it's a great life. I mean, it's not always easy, but if I work these steps, especially step 1, and just remember that first and foremost, I am powerless over that first drink. I don't go around people that drink. I don't go to bars. I don't go to clubs. I don't hang around anybody that drinks. So I mean that helps. I go to church. I have church friends. They don't drink really. And but I know I can't pick up that first drink because it's going to lead me right back to the insanity and the unmanageability, and that's what it is. So I didn't think I was going to share my story, but there it is, and I hope that it was able to help somebody, and thanks for letting me share.
Perfect. We have come to the part of the meeting where we will open the floor for your shares, discussions, and questions. Limit your time to 3 minutes. Please try and keep your conversation to the literature or steps shared by the tonight's speaker. If you feel like drinking or if you had a drink today, please see me or speak to someone after the meeting. Now I would like to open the meeting up.